She was the woman who turned heads in every room. Jade Montgomery. A name that echoed through the beauty industry, a face known across social media, a brand built on perfection. Her rise to fame was nothing short of extraordinary. She wasn't just a makeup artist, she was an empire, a force, a woman who refused to be ignored. She had money. Influence. A home that overlooked the glittering skyline of Atlanta. A life of luxury, carefully curated, shared in glimpses with millions of followers. Designer gowns. Champagne toasts. A world where beauty was everything, and power came to those who knew how to use it. And she knew. But on the night of May 17, 2024, all of it came to a sudden, unexplained halt. At 11:45 p.m., Jade stepped out of an upscale restaurant in Buckhead, her sleek black Mercedes parked just a few feet away. Surveillance cameras captured her final moments, her phone in one hand, her purse in the other, her eyes scanning the street as if expecting someone. She walked toward the car. Opened the door. Slipped inside. And then, she was gone. She never made it home. She never answered her phone. She never showed up for work the next morning. And as the hours stretched into days, one question loomed over Atlanta like a storm cloud ready to break. Where was Jade Montgomery? Had she disappeared willingly? Had someone taken her? Was this a desperate escape, or was she running from something much worse? The answer would send shockwaves through Atlanta's elite. And when the truth finally surfaced, it was darker than anyone could have imagined. Atlanta, Georgia. A city where power and prestige are currency. A place where fortunes are built overnight and lost just as quickly. Where the elite gather in high-rise penthouses, exclusive clubs, and candlelit gala events, their lives a carefully choreographed performance of excess and influence. She was the face that turned heads. The name whispered in boardrooms and beauty salons alike. Jade Montgomery. At just 34 years old, she had created an empire, Montgomery Cosmetics. What started as a small makeup line had exploded into a global brand, securing deals with the world's top retailers, endorsements from A-list celebrities, and millions of devoted followers who hung on to her every word. She had fought for everything she had. Built it with her own hands. And to the outside world, her life was perfect. A multimillion-dollar company. A penthouse overlooking the city. A marriage to one of Atlanta's most powerful men. She had won the game of success. Or so it seemed. Victor Langford III. The man who had everything money could buy. At 52, he controlled one of the largest real estate empires in the country. He owned luxury developments, high-rise hotels, sprawling estates. His influence stretched from Wall Street to Washington. People listened when he spoke, and few dared to cross him. When he and Jade appeared together, they were the picture of success. Power, wealth, beauty. The kind of couple people envied. But beneath the carefully curated image, there were fractures. And those fractures were growing deeper. May 14, 2024. 3 days before Jade would disappear, she took the final step in leaving Victor Langford behind. The divorce was filed. The papers were signed. Official. Public. It was over. To the media, it was just another celebrity breakup. But to those closest to Jade, it was a decision she had made out of fear. She had confided in friends, spoken in hushed tones about her concerns. She had sent texts, messages that now, in hindsight, carried a weight no one fully understood at the time. She told them she was being watched. That he was unpredictable. That leaving him wouldn't be as simple as signing a few papers. The marriage had started like a dream. Lavish vacations. Diamonds. A fairy tale wedding attended by the who's who of Atlanta's elite. But over time, something shifted. Something changed. She had made her choice. She wanted out. She wanted her life back. She believed she was finally free. And 3 days later, she was gone. May 17, 2024, 11:45 p.m. A warm Friday night in Atlanta. The streets of Buckhead were alive, couples dining, valet drivers shuffling luxury cars, laughter spilling from rooftop lounges. But amidst the glow of city lights and the hum of distant music, one woman's final moments were being recorded. She had dined with a friend that night. An ordinary evening. Good wine, quiet conversation. She appeared calm. Nothing seemed off. But the way she left, fast, almost urgent, raised questions. She reaches her black Mercedes. Unlocks the door. Slides inside. The brake lights glow for a moment, and then, darkness. She never made it home. 8 a.m. The next morning. Jade was expected at a scheduled photo shoot, an important campaign for her upcoming product launch. But she never arrived. Mia Thompson, her PA, sends a message. "Hey, are you okay? You're not answering." She tried calling. Straight to voicemail. She called again. And again. Mia's expression shifts from confusion to worry. She glances at the time. Then, another text. "Jade, where are you? You're freaking me out." Then, a message pings back at 2:32 a.m., nearly 3 hours after Jade was last seen. "Don't worry about me. Need space." It was meant to be reassuring. But it wasn't. Something about the message felt off. The phrasing. The timing. It wasn't like her. Mia had known Jade for years. If she was upset, she would have said so. If she needed space, she wouldn't have ignored every call. And experts would later confirm what Mia already suspected. By the time that text was sent, Jade was likely already dead. The investigation began immediately. Family, friends, colleagues, everyone was questioned. And one name surfaced faster than any other. Victor Langford. Ex-husband. Billionaire. The man who had the most to lose if Jade walked away. He told police he hadn't spoken to Jade in days. Since May 15, the day of their final court hearing. He said he had moved on. Had no reason to harm her. No reason to follow her. No reason to care. But phone records told a different story. He had called her 3 times. On the night she disappeared. And he had never mentioned it. Was he hiding something? Or was someone else involved? Then, investigators discovered something even more unsettling. New security footage. From Jade's condo. And in it, someone who wasn't supposed to be there. The person was never identified. They didn't enter the building. Didn't use the front entrance. Didn't follow her inside. But they were there. Watching. Waiting. The question was no longer if something had happened to Jade Montgomery. It was who had made it happen. And why. Jade Montgomery was gone. But the truth was just beginning to surface. Days had passed since Jade's disappearance. The questions were mounting. The media frenzy had begun. Investigators combed through every detail of her life, looking for answers. And then, inside her penthouse, behind a panel in her walk-in closet, they found something she had hidden away. Inside, bundles of cash, enough to suggest she had been preparing to leave in a hurry. Documents outlining business deals, financial statements, records of properties she owned under separate accounts. But it was what they found tucked between the pages of a leather-bound planner that sent chills through the investigation. If anything happens to me, look at Victor. Had she predicted her own murder? Had she known this moment was coming? And if she had, why hadn't anyone listened? While investigators scoured Jade's home, forensic teams were working another lead. The last known GPS ping from her phone. A location that made no sense. She had no business there. No reason to be anywhere near it. And yet, that's where the signal had stopped. An empty highway stretching into the outskirts of Atlanta. An abandoned warehouse, windows shattered, walls stained with years of neglect. The flashing blue and red of police lights illuminated the darkness. Officers moved cautiously through the decayed structure. The crunch of broken glass under their boots. A single door, rusted at the hinges, creaked open. And what they found inside confirmed their worst fears. May 21, 2024. For days after she vanished, Jade Montgomery was found. Wrapped in a designer bedsheet. A silk monogram stitched into the corner. A brand that was exclusive to one man. Victor Langford's private estate. There were no signs of a struggle. No evidence of a forced attack. Her nails weren't broken. There were no defensive wounds. There was only one cause of death. Strangulation. This wasn't a random act of violence. This wasn't a robbery. This wasn't an accident. It was personal. On May 25, 2024, just after sunrise, a convoy of unmarked police vehicles pulled up to the grand iron gates of Victor Langford's estate. They took him into custody without resistance. No struggle. No protest. He simply stood, placed his glass on the table, and let them take him away. Breaking news out of Atlanta: billionaire Victor Langford has been taken into custody in connection to the disappearance and murder of beauty mogul Jade Montgomery. Authorities have yet to confirm whether. Victor denied everything. Said he was being framed. That someone wanted him to take the fall. That he had nothing to do with Jade's disappearance. But forensic analysis told another story. Jade had been in his car the night she vanished. That much was certain. But had she left alive? The evidence was mounting. The walls were closing in. And Victor Langford, the man who once had everything, was now the prime suspect in one of the most high-profile murder cases Atlanta had ever seen. The final sound, chains locking as a jail cell door slides shut. July 10, 2024. The city of Atlanta had never seen a trial like this. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, legal analysts, spectators who had followed every twist in the case. At the center of it all stood Victor Langford, once one of the most powerful men in the city. Now, he was the defendant in a murder trial that had captivated the nation. The prosecution wasted no time. They painted a chilling picture: an enraged billionaire who refused to let his ex-wife go. A man used to power, control, and winning. And when Jade Montgomery walked away, he ensured she wouldn't live to enjoy her freedom. The evidence was overwhelming. Surveillance footage, phone records, forensic analysis. The safe in her home, the note with his name on it, the traces of her DNA found in his car. There was no sign of a break-in at her penthouse, no indication that anyone else had taken her by force. The defense attempted to argue that Jade had enemies in the business world, that she had received threats before, that someone else could have been responsible. But the jury wasn't swayed. It took them just 4 hours to deliberate. Guilty. Victor Langford was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. There was no reaction. No plea for mercy. No visible emotion as the sentence was read. He sat, hands folded in front of him, staring ahead. For the first time in his life, the power was gone. The wealth, the influence, the connections, none of it could save him. But even as the gavel fell, some questions remained unanswered. There were whispers. Speculation. Could Victor have acted alone? Or was there someone else involved? His lawyers continued to claim that the evidence was circumstantial, that someone had planted Jade's DNA in his car, that the entire case had been built on the assumption of his guilt rather than undeniable proof. There was talk of an appeal, though few believed it would succeed. And then, there was the question of the unidentified figure in the parking garage. The grainy CCTV footage from the night Jade disappeared. A shadowy presence near her car. The face blurred. The identity never confirmed. Some believed Victor had hired someone. That Jade's death had been planned, orchestrated by more than just one man. But if there was an accomplice, they were never found. No other arrests were made. No additional evidence surfaced. The case was closed. But the questions never fully disappeared. Jade Montgomery's funeral was held in a private ceremony attended by family, friends, and celebrities from across the industry. Flowers lined the entrance. Photographs from her career were displayed along the walls. A woman who had spent her life creating beauty, taken in a moment of cruelty. Her company, Montgomery Cosmetics, lived on. Her team refused to let her legacy fade. Sales skyrocketed in the weeks after her death. People who had never worn makeup before purchased her products as a tribute. Celebrities, influencers, fans, everyone had something to say about the woman whose life had been cut short. Memorial posts flooded social media. Videos, messages, tributes. Her final Instagram post, a simple caption about a new product launch, became a digital shrine. The comments never stopped. But the people closest to her were left with more than grief. They were left with an ache, a void that no verdict, no conviction, no amount of justice could ever truly fill. Jade Montgomery had fought to build a life of her own. And in the end, the person she feared most took it away. Her story became a cautionary tale. About power. About control. About the dangers that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most glamorous lives. And about the truth. A truth that, even now, some believe was never fully uncovered. Do you believe Victor Langford acted alone? Or is there more to the story? Was this the work of a powerful man who refused to let go? Or could there have been someone else in the shadows, someone who has never been caught? Could this case have been prevented? Were there warning signs that were overlooked, moments where intervention could have saved Jade Montgomery's life? The debate continues. The theories grow. And the truth? The truth may be more complicated than we will ever know. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think justice was truly served? What's your theory? And if you want to see more cases like this, real stories, real investigations, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Because sometimes, the most shocking crimes are the ones hiding in plain sight.